Okay, great. All right. So, Yolanda Adams,
Yes.
first of all, it's an honor,
Thank you.
a pleasure, an honor, and a blessing to be here.
Thank you.
Your new single, Church Doors, which I love, is amazing. Fans of the, or listeners of the album are going to get two versions.
Yes.
They're going to get the regular version and then they're going
Mm-hmm.
to get the sped up version. For the
Yes.
music video, we hear the sped up version, which
Absolutely.
gives people, it gets people to get up and kind of dance and move and shake,
Yes.
which I love. Choreography by the iconic Fatima.
Yes.
How did that collaboration come to be? Can you talk a little bit about
Oh,
that?
absolutely. Well, the writers of the song are Donna Lawrence and
Mm,
Sir the Baptist, Terry Hunter,
major.
Daryl, and Jay Ivy.
Okay.
When we first started talking about church doors and the concept for church doors, I said, we're living in a day now where it's not just the building that we're talking about when we refer to church doors, because some churches have big, gigantic, 20-foot doors that you go and open. Then there's some churches that are in storefronts that you open. But whenever you open the proverbial church doors, which is your heart, your mouth, and, all of the things that give you that testimony, you should always tell how good God's been to you. Then they called and said, "Hey, how do you feel about a house mix?" I said, "Now, y'all know I love to dance." So that's like amazing because, people know the Mountain High Valley Low with Already All Right, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Yeah, Yeah. And so when they gave me the house mix, I was like, okay, that sounds good, but we need to extend that because I want to dance longer than 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And so that's how we came up with the extended house mix. And then Fatima came in with Sylvia Roan and said, how about we do a visual for this? And of course, when she said Fatima was on board, I was ready because I have
Absolutely.
been a fan of Fatima's everything, from everything she's done with Beyonce, everything she's done, Color Purple, all of the things. I mean, she's just iconic.
She is.
And to be able to have her on board was just icing on the cake. And so this past Friday, the video launched with Woody.
I
I know.
know.
And folks are like, Yolanda Adams got Kane? I'm like, okay, you got to separate Woody from Kane and Bobby
Right.
Brown and all of that stuff. He's
Right.
such a talented young man.
Yes.
And to meet him and to be able to share the space of church doors with him, oh my gosh, it has been a wonderful ride. And it's just beginning. So I'm
Yes.
excited about it.
Yes, and he did amazing.
Yes, he did.
So,
Yes, he did.
so you are the queen of contemporary gospel,
Oh,
a title that you've earned, a title that is fitting for sure. And we know about the king of contemporary gospel, Kirk Franklin,
yeah.
as well. You're touring with him,
Yes.
Marvin Sapp,
Yes.
Fred Hammond,
Yes.
the Clark sisters,
And Kiera.
Kiera Sheard as well,
Yes.
and featuring
Mm-hmm.
Kiki Sheard,
Yes.
Kiera Sheard
Yes.
as well.
Uh-huh.
That's amazing. Speaking of Kirk Franklin, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to ask you that recently in an interview, he
Mm-hmm.
said that the church, and then this also piggybacks off of church doors.
Uh-huh.
He said that sometimes the church has traditionally ostracized single people, often making them feel, especially single black women,
Mm-hmm.
making them feel that they weren't fit because they were single to
Mm-hmm.
kind of lead in ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that that wasn't always fair. As
Right.
a single person
Mm-hmm.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
can you relate to what he said? And do you agree that oftentimes there's been a standard that maybe was unfair traditionally, where single people who've wanted to lead or maybe were called to lead
Mm-hmm.
by God
Yeah.
weren't always given the opportunity to because they were single.
I am so glad that that's something we can say is closer to the past than it is in the right now.
Yes.
I'm so glad that we're evolving
Mm-hmm.
as the body of Christ,
Yes.
and I'm really glad that we are separating ourselves from people who have this Christian hate mentality,
Mm.
and having grown up in the church all my life, almost born on the piano bench because my
Same.
mom was our
Same.
minister of music.
Same.
I have seen the evolution of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me preface that by saying I'm Baptist.
Okay.
So remember, they talked about us bad. We can smoke, we can drink, we can go to the movies, and then come to church on Sundays.
I heard a
Uh,
few of them. I'm Pentecostal,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you've
I
heard
told a
those
few of them
rumors.
jokes. I told a few of them jokes.
Absolutely. So for me growing up in the Baptist church, there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as much of a stigma growing up when I
Ah,
was there
okay.
because most of the church, let's say 75, 85% of the church consists of women, and maybe 50% of those women were single women.
Ah, okay.
And in our church in Texas, Houston, Texas,
Come
you
on.
had single women who led the usher boards. You
Mm.
had single women, whether they were single by default or single by choice,
Mm-hmm.
because some of them were either divorced or widowed, and, their spouse had passed away.
Right.
But I saw strong black women and strong black men in leadership, both single and married, when I grew up.
Yes.
Now, the great thing that I am seeing in the church now is that leadership is getting younger,
Mm.
and the ideas and concepts that they have to broaden ministry, they're more widely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at people like Pastor Keon Henderson and Shawnee Henderson, you see how they want to make sure that young people have a place,
Absolutely.
and single moms and dads have a place, married couples have a place, because the church should always be multifaceted because it represents a multitude of people. And
Mm.
so I'm thankful that that's not all of our story anymore. And
Mm.
like you said, you grew up Pentecostal, and so that there were a lot of women and men who were single that comprised the congregation. So what are you
Absolutely.
supposed to do with those people who have the gifts to lead?
Right.
Do we throw them away? No. They are the ones who have the capability of doing the work without having to worry about having to rush home and, cook dinner or do this or do that. And so I hope that in 2024, 2025, we give folks grace for where they are in their lives.
I know that's right. I love that. So, the Bible says, in all thy ways acknowledge him
Yes.
and he will direct thy path.
Uh-huh.
With this upcoming election, do you feel as though spirituality is being discussed as much as it should be?
That's a stumper. I think that we live out our spirituality on our daily
Mm-hmm.
basis, in our daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that our spirituality should be the focus
Mm.
of politics. I think great character,
Mm-hmm.
great job, qualifications,
Mm-hmm.
and a heart for the people
Mm-hmm.
should be the basis of why we vote or don't vote for a certain candidate. I
Mm-hmm.
think that if you're the kind of person who walks your spirituality out every day without having to shine this light on yourself, you're going to be God's arms and his heart and his ears and his hands on a daily basis.
Because you will know them by
Because
their fruit.
you'll know them by their fruit, but more importantly, you'll know them by their love.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I know that's right. See, always, just like so, just always.
Yeah.
This is what I. So today, earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
you made an appearance on the Tamron Hall show
Yes.
with the tour with everybody, minus the Clark sisters,
Yes.
that you're going on tour with. And again, I just want to say their names because this tour is going to be crazy. I
Yes.
encourage everybody to get their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So you made an appearance on the Tamron Hall show this morning with Kirk Franklin, Marvin Sapp, Fred Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the Clark sisters were not there, but they will be present. Twinkie
Absolutely.
Clark included.
Absolutely.
So we're going to get
gonna
Queen
get-
of the Beat.
Listen.
Come on.
Listen.
Come
I
on.
was so honored
The
to be a part.
architect.
Absolutely.
The architect.
I was so
That
honored
sound.
to be a part of her tribute album. When Donald called and said, "Hey, I want you to do In Him There's No Failure," I said, "Wait. Now, I sang that as a kid."
And I know you tore
I
that.
sang that as a kid.
And I know
And he
you
said, "No.
tore it up.
I'm sending you the arrangement." He's like, "Twinkie is so honored that you want to do this." And I'm
Aw.
like, "Okay, y'all can't make me cry." She is one of my favorite artists of all time.
She's everybody's.
And that
Come
is
on.
now that's artists across the board.
Anytime an artist can be one of your favorite artists, Mary J. Blige's
Come
one of
on.
Mary J. Blige's
Come
favorite
on.
artists,
Monica.
one of Monica, and one of Beyonce's
Beyonce's
favorite artists.
absolutely.
You know she's incredible.
Yeah.
That is who Twinkie Clark is. So
Absolutely.
I just applaud her for that. So we're going off script, but I just
No, we're good.
wanted to throw that out there because
Yeah.
Twinkie Clark is
An icon.
definitely
legendary.
She's legendary. But
Mhm.
so again, this tour, you all just Yolanda Adams, Marvin Sapp,
Yeah.
the Clark sisters.
Yes.
This tour is going to be bananas, and the
Yes.
fact that all of you all are going to be there, we're going to get like just our favorites. We're going to get gospel culture, gospel like legends all on one stage. It's this kind of opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
Absolutely. And it's miraculous because all of us have looked at our schedules and they coincide so
And that's nobody
so
but God.
perfectly.
That's nobody but God.
Okay?
You know that's
Absolutely.
nobody but God.
To get all of those folks and all of us folks in together where all of our schedules sync from now until the middle of November, nobody but God.
That's nobody but God.
Yep.
So when you appeared on Tamron Hall this morning,
Yes.
you know, I know that you and Tamron Hall, you all have a bond.
Yes, we do.
That's like your sister.
That's my sister.
That's your Texas sister.
Yes.
And, you know, recently, maybe like a year or two ago,
Mhm.
closer to the close of when the pandemic was at its height here in New York,
Yes.
Tamron Hall, you know, your name had came up when she had Kim Burrell on her show.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And Tamron Hall said, well, wait a minute, you know, that's my sister. That's my Texas
Absolutely.
sister.
Absolutely.
You know, when Kim Burrell had made some comments, Pastor Kim Burrell
Yes.
had made some comments saying that, you know, friends that she thought would be there for her weren't necessarily there for her the way
Mhm.
she thought that they would be. At this year's Stella Awards, Pastor Burrell issued a public apology. And I
Mhm.
wanted to get your thoughts on that, with you being such an avid supporter of embracing all of God's children, which
Absolutely.
has been a platform of yours
Mhm.
since the start of your career. You know,
Absolutely.
one thing about you, Yolanda Adams, to be clear, you've not hopped on something because it was a trend.
Right.
You've always, to be again clear, have
Mhm.
always advocated for all of God's children
Absolutely.
since the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so I do want to say that clearly because that is the truth.
Yes.
So with that being something that you've always advocated for, what are your thoughts on that apology
Mhm.
and how do you feel about everything coming full circle
Yeah.
and just being back on Tamron Hall, seeing your
Yeah.
sister again,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the apology and everything else?
Yeah. Well, let me just start by saying when people are hurt,
Mm-hmm.
they tend to speak from the hurt.
Of course.
And one of the things that Kim did not know
Mm-hmm.
is that I had gone on Hollywood Unlocked with Jason.
Ah.
And he asked the question too because I have always loved Kim.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Kim. Kim has grown up in a situation where she speaks her mind.
Right.
And that's who she is,
Right.
And it didn't change anything for me about Kim. I love Kim. I loved Kim that day.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kim right now. We've
Her
already
voice
talked.
is-
Oh, come on now. You can't get
There
no better
is
than
no
those.
other.
Absolutely.
There
Absolutely.
is no other.
But here's the thing, too. I had no idea that what I had said at that time, it was not even directed toward her.
Mm-hmm.
People magazine did an article. They asked myself, Stevie Wonder, Shaka Khan, Pharrell, asked us all about the comment that she made. I said, while I love Kim Burrell does not speak for all of the gospel artists.
Of course.
She does not speak for all Christians.
Of course.
And then I preface that by saying, as a person who has gay family members who are in ministry, I can't agree with some of the things that she said about, the
Of course.
LGBTQ community.
Of course.
And I stood on that and I meant that.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows how I feel about that. And then again, on Tamron, I think emotions took over.
Right.
And she'll tell you, because she's very smart,
Yes.
she'll tell you that once she started talking about it, it kind of got away from her.
Right. Right.
And when you speak from your head and not from your heart,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times you're gonna need grace after that.
Of course.
And so before she even went on Tamron, because she was supposed to be promoting her album,
Right.
I had talked to Jason, and Jason was like, well, what about this Kim Burrell? Blah, 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 blah. I said, listen, I would never want to be held to a standard of one soundbite in my life that someone caught me on a really bad day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired, I'm getting on the plane, and somebody snaps at me, and, and I have to snap back or whatever.
Right.
I mean, we've all said stuff that
Of course.
we know we shouldn't have said, and
Of
then
course.
and then it hurts someone's feelings and stuff like
Right.
that. And so I told Jason, I said, I hope that we as a community, number one, and also as a culture, start giving grace to folks
Yes.
until we get the full story.
Yes.
And I said that way before Tamron Hall. And so she didn't see that. I mean, she didn't hear that. And and so when Tamron Hall surfaced, Jason played the interview again to show, what I had said, and that I had not been, saying anything negative against her, because, I love her. I've known her since she was like 8 years old.
Oh,
I'm much
okay.
old. Yeah, I'm much older than her. We're all from Houston. So the good thing that came out of it, and I want people to understand this.
Yes.
The good thing that came out of it was that she and I got a chance to actually talk.
Oh, okay.
And love on each other.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't know how you misunderstood what I said, because it was not directed to you. My comment to the young lady at People magazine, and I stand by this, is that while you have your opinion and you have that right to have your opinion, that's not the way that I feel. I'm like, I have gay family members, I have lesbian family members, and I'm gonna stop loving them because of who they love. I can't do that.
Of course.
Because the God I love loves everybody.
Right.
He created everybody. And do you think he would let anybody get to this earth that he didn't love?
Right.
And wasn't proud of? And I stand on that. And we got a chance to talk. We got a chance to hug and cry and, get it out and all of that good stuff. And so, she mentioned me in the in her speech and everything. And I am very proud that she was able to articulate.
Yes.
Even though she was a little nervous.
Yes.
You know, you could tell she was nervous because,
Yes.
I mean, you're about to
Of
give
course.
the speech of your life.
Of
you
course,
know?
of course.
But for her to say the words, I'm sorry.
Yes.
To say the words, I apologize.
Yes, yes.
Were huge.
Yes, they were.
And so I
Yes.
applaud her. I applaud her for recognizing that her words could have hurt a lot of people. I applaud her for that because, you know, hey, it's hard to say I'm sorry sometimes. It's hard to say I apologize sometimes. And then when you know that people in your church and people in your surroundings, people you grew up with, you know, are of the LGBTQIA community, you know, we have to understand that some of the old ways of thinking about God and some of the old ways of thinking about church and religion are just that. They're
Right.
old ways that have to come up to 2024.
Right.
You got one more question? I'm good, guys.
Can I ask about
Yeah,
Kingdom
absolutely.
business?
Yes,
really
yes,
quick?
yes,
He's
yes.
telling me I have to wrap. Okay,
Just
great.
one more question.
This
Yes,
is my
yes.
last question.
Okay.
So, Kingdom Business
Yes.
is my favorite show.
Oh, thank you.
I love your character, but your character,
She's a mess.
listen, your character takes me through.
Yes.
First of all, season 2 ended so are we getting another season? What's going on? Update us. Are you filming? Like, when are we getting, we're waiting. Tell
Our
us.
prayer
Okay.
is that we get a chance to do season 3 and 4 together in
Yes.
2025.
Okay.
So instead of being in Atlanta for 3 to 4 months filming just one,
Okay.
we can be there for 6 months doing both. Now that's my prayer. That's my prayer, y'all. Y'all need to call BET, write, do whatever you need to do. There's some unanswered questions and a lot of dilemmas that season
Right.
2 left us with. So what is Bishop gonna do?
Right.
Is he running for mayor? Is he
Right.
running for governor? What is he doing? Because he's a mess.
How are you channeling such a wicked, backwards lady, and in reality, you're Yolanda Adams?
Well, here's the thing. In acting, you have to find the humanity in your character.
Okay.
Although she's totally not like me in the sense that she's
Right.
trying to destroy somebody's career and their love life and all of that kind of stuff.
A
'Cause see,
couple people.
I'm not, yes, absolutely. I am not a messy person.
Right.
So I let live.
You
know.
lead with love.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but that character, child.
Absolutely. So here's what I had to do. I had to look inside of Danita and figure out what makes her so mean. What makes her think that she's the only one that can hold up the bloodstained banner? And then if we trace everything, it goes back to the way she was raised.
Her mother.
I'm not gonna give it away.
But I saw season 2.
Come on now. Yes, you
That
did.
mother is a trip.
Come on.
So I get it.
They need to have you at the writer's table.
Child, tell the people.
I heard that, but yes, we are excited
Yes.
about it. Before we left, the writer's strike started.
Right.
So we're kind of backed up like 6 months. But
Got it.
yes, I want everybody to go to BET and BET.com and all of those places, BET Plus, and tell them we need some Kingdom business. We need 3 and
Yes.
4 at the same time. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for everything. It was such a pleasure and an honor.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you for being so amazing.
Yes, no, thank
and taking your
you.
time and being here
Yes.
waiting for me because
My
you know
pleasure.
it's Fashion Week
And my honor.
And you know how navigating the streets of New York.
Absolutely. Thank you
Oh,
for
thank you, dear.
everything.
Yes,
Can I get a
absolutely,
picture?
absolutely. Come on.
Come on. Can somebody, would you mind? Of course. Because, this is one of my gospel heroes. You have to. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
so sorry. I don't want to break.